They built the most powerful business empire in the history of American music. Record labels, fashion lines, spirits brands, sports teams, streaming platforms, venture capital funds. One of them is serving a federal prison sentence. The other is worth $2.8 billion and just named the richest musician in the world by Forbes. Same era, same industry, same circles, two completely different receipts. This is how it all happened. Hip-hop was born in the South Bronx in the early 1970s. By the 1990s, it had become the best-selling music genre in America. But the real shift, the one that changed everything, was when the artists stopped being products and started becoming owners. Diddy founded Bad Boy Records in 1993. Jay-Z co-founded Rockefeller Records in 1995. Both men understood something most artists didn't. The label deal was never the destination. It was just the door. What you built after you walked through that door was the real empire. Diddy's empire at its peak was extraordinary. Bad Boy Records launched Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, and Usher. Sean John Clothing launched in 1998 and won the CFDA Award for Menswear Designer of the Year in 2004. His Ciroc vodka deal with Diageo was structured as a 50-50 profit split, not an endorsement. That one deal alone generated an estimated $100 million annually at its peak. He also founded Revolt TV, a music-focused cable network, in 2013. By 2022, Forbes estimated his net worth at nearly $1 billion. Then, in September 2024, federal agents raided his homes simultaneously in Los Angeles and Miami. The empire that took 30 years to build started collapsing in 30 days. Jay-Z, born Sean Carter, grew up in the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn. He co-founded Rockefeller Records in 1995, sold it to Def Jam in 2004 for $10 million, then became Def Jam's president. In 2008, he founded Rock Nation, a full-spectrum entertainment company covering music, sports representation, touring, and film. In 2015, he acquired Armand de Brignac Champagne, known as Ace of Spades, and in 2021 sold a 50% stake to Moet Hennessy. His venture capital fund, Marcypen Capital Partners, now manages over $900 million in assets as of 2026. In March 2026, Forbes named Jay-Z the richest musician in the world, estimated net worth $2.8 billion. While Diddy sat in federal prison, Jay-Z was on the cover of GQ and expanding into South Korean markets. Diddy and Jay-Z were not just contemporaries, they were deeply connected. They moved in the same circles, attended the same events, and built their empires in parallel across the same decade. In December 2024, a civil lawsuit alleged that both men sexually assaulted a then 13-year-old girl at a party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. Jay-Z and Diddy both denied the allegations. In February 2025, the plaintiff voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled. Jay-Z told GQ it was hard, really hard. I was heartbroken. That whole thing took a lot out of me. I was angry. I haven't been that angry in a long time. He subsequently filed a defamation lawsuit against the accuser and her attorneys, alleging extortion and claiming she admitted the allegations were false. Here's the question nobody in the mainstream music industry is asking seriously enough. How did an industry this powerful, this connected, and this well documented not see what was happening inside it? Or more accurately, how many people saw it and said nothing? The 2016 hotel surveillance footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie existed for 8 years. Over 120 civil lawsuits were filed against Combs, suggesting a pattern that extended far beyond one person. The infrastructure of Bad Boy Records, Combs Enterprises, and the broader entertainment machine that surrounded Diddy, all of it required people, staff, lawyers, publicists, managers. Every empire has employees. and employees see things. In 2023, Bad Boy Records celebrated its 30th anniversary with a sold-out reunion tour. 12 months later, federal agents were executing simultaneous raids on Diddy's properties in 2 states. Diageo terminated the Cyrock partnership. Revolt TV distanced itself from its founder. 30 years of brand building dismantled in weeks. Diddy was arrested in September 2024 and held without bail at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. On July 2, 2025, a jury found him guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution under the Mann Act. He was sentenced to 50 months in federal prison and fined $500,000. He is currently serving that sentence at FCY Fort Dix in New Jersey. His appeal was filed March 13th, 2026. While Diddy's empire was burning, Jay-Z's was expanding. In September 2024, his Marcy Venture Partners merged with Pendulum Holdings to form Marcy Penn Capital Partners, now managing over $900 million in assets. In December 2025, Jay-Z announced a $500 million strategic joint venture in South Korea through Marcy Penn Asia, partnering with Hanwha Asset Management, which oversees $70.5 billion. Roc Nation's partnership with the NFL, which began in 2019, continues to produce the Super Bowl halftime show. Jay-Z's public profile in 2026 is arguably stronger than at any point in his career. He navigated one of the most serious public allegations of his life and came out of it with a GQ cover and a global investment fund. That is not luck. That is infrastructure. The story of Diddy and Jay-Z is not really about 2 men. It is about what happens when an entire culture and the corporate machine built around it concentrates power in too few hands with too little accountability. Hip-hop went from the South Bronx to Wall Street in 40 years. That is an extraordinary achievement. But power without accountability is borrowed time. Diddy's empire survived 30 years of warning signs because the machine around him valued profit over accountability. Jay-Z's empire survived a serious public accusation because his legal infrastructure, his business structure, and his public image were built to withstand exactly that kind of pressure. One man built an empire on fear. The other built an empire on equity. The receipts on both of those approaches are now fully visible. As of August 2026, Sean Combs is at FCI Fort Dix, serving a 50-month federal sentence. His appeal is pending. Jay-Z is worth $2.8 billion, the richest musician on the planet, expanding into Asian markets and managing nearly $1 billion in venture assets. Same era, same industry, same rooms for 30 years, 2 completely different endings. Hip-hop built some of the most remarkable business empires in American history. It also built some of the most protected environments for abuse and exploitation. Diddy and Jay-Z were the 2 sides of the same machine. One side collapsed, the other is still running. The question the industry hasn't answered yet is whether the machine itself has changed, or whether it's just waiting for the next name. That's the receipt. Subscribe and never get the surface version again. New story dropping every week will be here.